what are some of the career and business opportunities do you think for the next generation coming up when it comes to AI? You briefly touched that, autonomous vehicles will provide lot many things as, when the first iPhones came, it brought a lot of other industries along with it. What kind of industries do you think AI will bring in fields?
Yeah, we're concerned about the future of work. We are appropriately concerned. A lot of repetitive work is already getting replaced with machines and AI. Even the sort of right-brained creative work is starting to get replaced. I've played with some music composing software that the AI writes the music, and it's good. It's really good. And we're seeing now GPT-3, for example, write stories and articles that are pretty convincing. They were done by humans. A lot of automation now in the legal business. We thought the legal world would be the sort of last, perhaps one of the last to be automated. And in fact, it's moving quite fast. So there is a lot of disruption that the emergence of AI is going to create in the world of work. And, if you're a real pessimist, you look out and you say, well, we're projected to displace about 800 million workers by 2030, which is about 20% of the world's workforce. That's, probably the worst case scenario. I don't think we quite get there, but we do see some displacement, and this is going to cause definitely a disruption in the force. It's going to create some unpleasant scenarios in which we, as organizations and as governments, we need to face head on. But that said, there's a decent but here, which is it possible that the new technologies and new behaviors and new global needs actually generate a lot more work and different skills? And the answer is yes. The only thing we don't know is how much. Is it if 800 million jobs are going to be displaced, do we replace it with 800 million new jobs, or 500 or 300 million? In which case we're still left with this extreme problem of massive unemployment. Or what do we do with hundreds of millions of people? We have to face that question. New work will emerge. We already see big demands. We already see huge demands, for example, in the area of cybersecurity. Here in the US alone, we have many, many more openings than we have talent for. And that applies also to areas like data science.
Data science, yeah.
We need a lot more data scientists graduating from colleges and universities and programs. We have a lot of need for project managers and business analysts and other, high value work like that. We will have openings for millions of people, but these are high skill jobs. And, where the impact will be felt in the near term is going to be with, again, lower skilled work. Although there still will be opportunity there, maybe less. Where there will be demand and probably a shortfall for the foreseeable future is in high skilled work. And the specificity, the really specific, high value jobs within artificial intelligence will struggle to get good talent. And so we need more people going into the university and professional programs to be able to graduate in a whole range of AI related fields. Everything from, of course, software engineering to data science to visualization to, electronics engineering. There's a hardware component. There's a software component. There's a data component. There's a network component. All these will need, a lot of talent. So I'm really optimistic about the massive demands for very specialized, high value jobs in the years ahead. And so if you are, interested in this area and want to know, what opportunities there are, well, part of it is going to be, where's your passion? What are you excited about? Do you like the more hardware side of things, building things, the sort of more the traditional engineering role? Do you like the software? In which case backgrounds in programming and mathematics will be valuable. And then you got, of course, the data science and the networking, which is also on the engineering end. We're going to need people that are really good at storytelling. We're going to need people who are great at communications and documentation. We're going to need people who are great philosophers, and ethicists. We're going to need ethicists, and we're going to need physicists. and chemical engineers and more people who studying the biology and all the natural sciences, because you can take all these core science related areas, but we also need to think about them in the context of industries. So we're going to need people who are good in all these areas, that are good in these areas, that are also good and have a passion for agriculture and for entertainment and for financial services and supply chain and automotive, and so find what your passion is in these areas. You'll find a lot of roles, and then decide what industry is really appealing to you. You can be a generalist, sure, and there's a good argument, but there's also a lot of appetite, for example, AI people who have a background in automotive or have studied, cars and transportation. And the same applies throughout, the multitude of industries we have in each of our economies. So I'm very excited about the possibilities here. You're going to need a good education. Make sure that you're studying up on your math. And don't forget to don't ignore your reading, writing, and verbal communication skills. No matter how technical you are, these will be even more essential in the 21st century.